What up, y'all? It's your girl Crazy Kerins. Alright, so I am in my kitchen, not really caring that you can see my garbage behind me, my bedroom, my closet. Not really caring that I am in my pajamas and in a robe, and it is almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know if you could see that. Whatever. But I have been MIA, and I figured I would vlog and let you know what's been going on. So here we go. "2020 has not been kind to me." It is the last day of February. It's a leap year, leap day, 29th, whatever. And I figured I wanted to go into March, you know, fresh, new. And so I was like, I have to record this vlog today, get this off of my chest so that I can move on and, you know, move on. So you guys know, I lost my grandmother in January, and I don't want to cry on this vlog, but I might. So I lost my grandma in January, on payday. Such a boss. January 15th, and you know, we knew she was gonna pass away, but it still sucks when it happens. And then as you know, we start recovering from that, and you know, we're still sad, but you know, you start kind of getting back into the swing of things. And then February hit, and then my daughter almost dies. So 2020 has not been kind. So I guess let me just tell you the story. I'll give you some perspective. I became a mother in November of 2015, and it was, you know, it was a whirlwind. Wasn't really supposed to get pregnant. Was supposed to start IVF, and you know, right when I was gonna start my IVF cycle, I got pregnant naturally. Praise be to God. When my daughter was born, it was a struggle to get her out of me. And so when she came out of the womb, she came out bruised, black and blue forehead. Her eye was bleeding, like she had like a blood spot in her eye. And then when I was in recovery, they wanted to bring her to me, and I was like, no, I don't want her. Don't bring her. It was just a shock. It was just, everything was a shock about becoming a mother to me. I fell in love with her, I would say maybe like 2-3 weeks after she was born. I know that some people are like, oh my God, as soon as I get pregnant, I'm like in love. I'm so in love. And kudos to you if that's you, but that was not me. I was not in love with my child when I was pregnant with her. I was just like, I'm pregnant. Okay. And, but after she was born, and like 3 weeks later, I was like, oh my God, this kid, she's so beautiful. She's mine. And it was all good. And then 18 months later, we decide, let's get pregnant again. And got pregnant. And my second pregnancy was a little tough in that we had some family situations that were going on that just kind of robbed us of the experience of enjoying the pregnancy. We experienced 3 deaths. That's hard. Well, 2 deaths, excuse me. We experienced 2 deaths and received news of a death that was coming. So that was hard. And my husband started a new job, and it was hard, really hard. And I think that that's where my depression went crazy. I knew I was depressed with my daughter, but everything is so new with the first child that you kind of just like, you kind of set the depression aside and just go with the flow. But when my son, when he was born, I kind of knew what was going to happen and whatever. And the stress of the 2 deaths that we had experienced, the stress of 2 babies, the stress of, oh my God, in a few months, we're going to lose somebody else. It was hard. And so I just started becoming very frustrated and angry. I wasn't the me that I used to be. Life was so different. But we pushed through. Then, a few months after my son was born, I think it was 4 months after he was born, the person that we were expecting to pass away passed away, and that was hard. And then it was just, dealing with moving to a new apartment. Just a lot of things were happening. And my daughter was 2 now. And she was a terrible 2. Ooh, terrible. And I started getting really frustrated with her, really angry, and I started resenting her. Like, gosh, I don't like being a mother. I don't like this parenting gig. And I would catch myself at times saying, I can't stand this child. I can't, because she would go head to head with me. We are the same person. And we clashed a lot. And I just didn't know how to deal with it. And I would catch myself locking myself in my bathroom a lot because I didn't want to yell at her or spank her out of anger, because at the end of the day, I was a 39, 38-year-old adult, and she was a 2-year-old. And I was like, there's a lot of damage that you can do, if you react out of anger. So I would lock myself in my bathroom a lot with my daughter just to get away. And though I would, try to steer away from like corporal punishment and hitting her, I mean, I'm not against spanking. I was spanked and I'm fine, okay? I think a little, whack on the hand here and there, is not terrible. Go ahead, start giving me all the bad comments below. It's whatever. I do not care. But I do believe that like excessive spanking, I don't want to do that. So I would catch myself, I'm like, I can't go down that road. But there are other ways that you can hurt a child without corporal punishment. And in the mornings when we get ready to go to work, like we walk out of the house together and I hold my son's hand and she likes holding my hand and we walk and hold hands together. And there were times where I wouldn't hold her hand because I was so mad. Like I knew she was walking behind me and I would just like, come on, let's go. I would like kind of bark at her. And I wouldn't hold her hand unless we were crossing the street. I just wouldn't hold her hand. And I know that would hurt her feelings. And I kind of started, feeling like I gotta change. This is not cool. I keep saying like, oh, my daughter, she's gonna hate me when she's a teenager, and we're gonna have a really strained relationship. And I started thinking, I'm like, well, if you keep saying you're gonna have a strained relationship, you're gonna have a strained relationship. And so I was like, I have to change my behavior because I'm creating a rebellious person and I don't want to do that. So when 2020 hit, I was like, I want to be different. I want to be a different parent. And I was like, I want to be kinder and more patient. And I was like, I want to treat my kids the way I treat my students. I'm very patient with my students and kind with them. And I'm like, why am I being so sweet and awesome to other people's children? I need to do that to mine, Well, because the law tells me to. So I started being more pleasant with my kids and I started noticing a change. And then Thanksgiving, you hear me? Thanksgiving. Valentine's Day was coming up and I figured I want Valentine's Day to be really, really sweet and special this year. Like have like little family party and get balloons and we can create like sweet tarts for ourselves, like treats, whatever. And so I was excited. So now it's Valentine's Day week. It's February 10th, Monday the 10th. She goes to school. Tuesday the 11th, she doesn't go to school. I keep her home because I had to go meet with my son. And my son has a whole set of issues that I've been dealing with that I haven't really vlogged about. I'm not ready to vlog about him right now. But, so we had to go meet with the team of people that were going to take over my son's case. And I figured we would all go as a family. So we went and everything was fine. And my son was sick. He had a fever and his fever wasn't breaking and he was lethargic. And so we were worried about my son and we're like, oh, what's happening? So now Wednesday the 12th, we wake up and he's still sick, still lethargic. And I'm like, his fever's not breaking. I'll take him to my mom's house, but by the afternoon, if he's still sick, then I have to take him to the doctor. So now my daughter's acting like she's sick and we're like, you're just, you're just trying to be like Jack, whatever. But we were giving her love and attention. And I absolutely loved that day before, like when we spent it as a family and went to meet my son's new team. And I was like, I want every day to be like this. I want every day to be like this pleasant, beautiful, loving family day. And so now Wednesday, again, like I said, my son was still sick. My daughter said, I'm sick too, but I was like, I don't think you are. Took her to my mom's house and we walked out of the house and we were all holding hands and we were excited and it was pleasant. Lots of I love yous, lots of hugs because I was making a conscious effort to be a better parent. And then as the day unfolded, I was reaching out to my family. How's Jack? How's he doing? They're like, he still has a little bit of a fever, but Kennedy's not doing well. And I'm like, So we FaceTimed. She's, crying. And she always cries like that when she's sick. So I'm like, she's being Kennedy. And I sang to her and she would calm down, but she was still crying and she wouldn't take her nap. So maybe like 2.5 hours later, I get some more text messages from my family. They're like, should we take her to the hospital? Should we call an ambulance? We don't know. She doesn't seem to be well. So I was like, okay, I'm on my way. So I left work about 20 minutes early. I just walked out of the building. I did talk to my principal and apologized for doing that, but I don't know. I just felt like, let me go now. Let me go now. And so I left 20 minutes early. And when I get to while I'm driving, I call the doctor and say, hey, my kids are a little sick. Can we go see you guys tonight? They're like, yeah, just walk in. So I'm just going to take her to the doctor. So when I get to my parents' house, and I open the door, she's still crying. And when I look at her, y'all, she looked like she was dying. Her skin was so gray and pale. Her eyes were sunken in. She couldn't gaze, latch onto, we couldn't connect our gazes because her eyes kept rolling to the back of her head. Her breathing was so shallow. When I touched her, she was cold and sweaty and very limp. And I was like, oh my God, we gotta go. And my mom was like, why don't you take her to urgent care? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Mind you, the whole time I'm calm because I've always learned to just be very calm when emergencies arise, because going crazy isn't gonna do anything but agitate you and make you not think straight. So my mom was like, take her. And she was like, Federico, ve con ella. That's my dad. So we grabbed both kids because, again, Jack is still sick, still slightly lethargic with the fever. And I've got this kid who looks like she's dying. So we get in the car and we're driving, and I'm not trying to speed, but I'm not trying to drive too slow. And I'm looking through the rearview mirror to see how she's doing. And she stopped breathing in the car. And I'm like, Kennedy, hey, Kennedy, mommy, are you okay? You okay? And she would start breathing again. She was breathing like that. And we get to urgent care and we get inside and they go to register us, but I forget my wallet. So I have to run back out, get my wallet, go in. And the lady that's registering us, she looks at my daughter. She goes, "What's wrong with her?" I said, "I don't know." And she calls to the nurse. She goes, "Nurse, come here. Just take this kid right now. Just take her right now. Don't even wait. Just take her. Just take her." We didn't even wait to register her. They just took her. And so my dad went with her, and I stayed as I registered both children. And then we went to the back, and my dad and I switched off. He took Jack. They took him to a separate area. And when I turned the corner and I saw like 10 people over my daughter, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is serious. And they're asking me what's wrong, and I'm trying to stay calm. And at that point, I start crying. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's wrong. And I was telling them, I said, it's my son that's sick. It's not her, it's my son. And they said, well, did she eat anything today? Has she been out of the country? What's happening? And I just told them, I said, well, my son was sick and she wasn't. And then I called over lunch and she was crying and she hasn't napped and she was cold to the touch and I don't know. So there was not much I could say to them. And then they took her to another room, and the lady that comes to take your insurance, she came over and she starts asking me for my information, and we got one kid registered with the insurance. But then I was like, I'm not pulling an Opie. And you're like, what's pulling an Opie? In 2008, I think it was 2012. I had a dog named Opie, and he got sick, and he was very sick to the point where he needed surgery, and we took him to the vet, and he was in the hospital, and I went and I was doing some other things. I was singing at a church, and I was like, I'm gonna go sing at this church. I'm not gonna go see the dog. He'll be fine. And I never went to see the dog in the hospital, and he died, and I never got to say goodbye. So I was like, I'm not pulling an Opie. So the lady, she was like, that's okay, don't worry, go be with your daughter. So I went, and that's when it was crazy. She was on the bed, and she was trying to sit up, and I'm like, Mommy, I'm here, and they got the albuterol going, and they're running in and out, and there's such a heavy sense of urgency in the room. And I'm not a doctor, but I've seen enough episodes of ER to know. And they're running back and forth, and they're like, okay, we need to intubate her, so we're gonna sedate her. So I had to make sure that she could hear my voice and sense me while she was going under, because I didn't know if she was gonna come out of it. So I kept saying, I'm here. And I was singing, Dios está aquí. Siente como el aire que respiro. I always sing that to her. I was singing, and the nurse was like, keep singing to her. And I could sense in her body when she was like going under. And so now she's sedated, and at this point, they've got to intubate her, and they're having a hard time intubating her because the place we went to wasn't meant for children. And so they didn't have like pediatric sized tubes, and they were trying to intubate her, and he can't really get the tube in right, and her body starts reacting to it and rejecting it, and she starts throwing up, and they're like, suction, and the whole time I'm just holding on to her leg and just praying. And my family was there, and they were telling them to exit the room, let the doctors do what they have to do. And I said, I'm not leaving. And they were like, okay. So I just stayed really close to her and was holding her leg. And she starts urinating on herself, and vomit is coming out of her mouth. And they're trying, and this whole time there's no air going into her. And they're trying, and the tube isn't going in. And they finally get the tube in, and they got the pump with their hand, and they're like, the air is escaping, it's not going in. And you see her chest rising, but I guess not fully, and it was a mess. And then they're doing an x-ray, and they're seeing that the tube is not really right, and so they take out the tube, So when they took out the tube, that's when things got really, really bad. And all the numbers on the little monitor screen, they all start dropping really, really fast. And things start dinging and beeping, and her body's just not moving. And they start doing CPR, and they're like bouncing on her chest and trying to get the tube in, and the doctor's hands are shaking and people are running. And all I could do was pray. All I could do was pray and plead, pray and plead. I would say, God, I'm here to remind you of who you are. You're a way maker, God of miracles. And I just kept telling God, like, I know who you are, and I'm reminding you of who you are. Please don't take her away from me. I promised that I was going to be a better mother. Give me a second chance. And I'm just praying and pleading and praying and pleading. And this entire time I'm not crying. I'm just very calm. Very calm. And I'm praying, out loud. I didn't care if the doctors heard me. I didn't care. I just kept proclaiming the name of Jesus. Jesus, you're a way maker. Jesus, you have this under control. Jesus, take control of this situation. Jesus, guide the doctors. And I just kept saying that and saying that. And the entire time there was one nurse who held my hand. I don't know her name. I want to go back and find her. She held my hand the entire time. And then they got the tube in, and it was starting to work. They finally got the air going in, and I'm like, God, Jesus. But this whole time she's been without oxygen. So at this point, I don't know what's happening, She just woke up. So she was so critical that they had to transfer her, and they wouldn't. They called the ambulance, and we sat there and waited while somebody else breathed for her because they couldn't get her on the ventilator. So there was somebody for about 7 hours doing this, keeping her alive with that bag. The urgent care called the special children's hospital that we were supposed to be transferred to. And I'm so grateful for Goriep Children's Hospital because the doctor got in a car with a team, drove 30 minutes out with a bunch of supplies, and they walked into that urgent care and they stabilized my daughter. Urgent care stabilized her, but they got the correct tube, so they had to re-intubate her again. And I was there for the third intubation. It was a lot calmer this time, but when they did it, I could see that her lung had collapsed at that point, because when they were putting the air in, only one side of her chest was going up. So I'm like, good Lord, what's happening? What did she have? She had the flu. She had pneumonia, and she was asthmatic, and sepsis. And so sepsis is poisoning in the blood from the infection. So the pneumonia or the flu, whatever, the body went a little crazy, and the infection started saturating itself through the bloodstream. Hence why she was, had the blotchy skin, clammy skin, cold to the touch, blue lips, blue nose. And they got her stabilized. The ordeal started at about 3:30, 3:45 in the afternoon, and they were finally able to transfer her at about 11:30 p.m. When they transferred her, this vlog is like super long, I'm so sorry. But But they got her to the hospital, and you know, she was laying there with a bunch of tubes and stuff and a warming blanket, and they told us all the things that they had to do, and it was very scary to hear. She had IVs in both of her hands, an IV in her foot, and a central line that fed fluids and direct medication to her heart. And she was sedated for 3 days. It was a little crazy though, because my daughter's tough, y'all. And she kept waking up from the sedative. Oh, I think she's about to walk out. Hi, Poopy. So she kept waking up, and that was scary because when she first woke up, she pulled the tube out of her mouth. And though that was a very scary ordeal, God knows what he's doing. Because when she did that, she said, "It hurts, it hurts. I want mommy." So we knew that she was okay here, that her brain wasn't affected from the loss of oxygen. So they upped her sedation. She was out for 3 days, and they thought she was supposed to be in the ICU for like a full 5-6 days, and nope, her levels were becoming normal, like really, really fast. Like I asked her, "How do you know when to take them off the ventilator?" And she was like, "Well, there's a number. A 5 is ideal when we know that the body is functioning on its own, it's working, it's good. And in terms of oxygen level, when we can decrease her oxygen from us to her to 0%. She was on 100% oxygen, and her ventilator number was 12. So in a matter of like 2 days, she went from a 12 to a 6, and oxygen level from 100 to about 30%. It was like quick. And the last day, took the tube out, woke her up. She was super loopy. There was, so many drugs in her. But it was funny, like the way she was talking, a lot of Spanish. Like, I guess the sedatives made her want to speak Spanish. But we are just so grateful that everything turned out the way it did. And I'm grateful that God has given me a second chance to continue making this change toward being a better parent, a more pleasant parent, a more loving parent. There's still things that we have to deal with in terms of her health, because, this whole ordeal doesn't come with residual damage. So we're dealing with that. Me personally, I'm dealing with the emotional scars, because I saw a lot and I remember a lot. And so there's a lot of anxiety and fear that I'm dealing with right now from all of this. But we trust God and we thank God for this outcome. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank everybody that prayed, everybody that visited. There was a pastor that she came all the way from the Bronx just to sit with us in that waiting room and to be with us. My pastors, Bishop Joshua and Pastor Paula, for mobilizing all of the intercessors at our church to pray. My parents' church, Tabernacle, they again organized their intercessors and prayed. My aunt's church in Lake Mary, Pastor Shadi and church, they all prayed and covered us. We had a church out in Ohio praying for us. We had churches in Dominican Republic. Like, I didn't realize how much church family we had, y'all. And you guys came through. Even my church, they do a thing called a meal train, and they provided dinners for us for a whole week. And they even got our kids like presents and books and toys, to kind of make them feel like, we're back to normal. So, gosh, just thank you to my immediate family. They were in that urgent care with me. My husband, my father, my mother, my sisters, they were there, and and I've got my gift. Say hi.
No.
Okay. She's back, y'all. So I'm sorry for the long vlog, but I felt I had to get this vlog out before I went back to my crazy Kerins vlogs, my financial debt tracker vlogs, my buy my tote bags vlog, hence buy my tote bags, okay? I felt I had to get this out of the way before I could, you know, get back into like my normal vlogging routine. But please continue to pray for us. And I know that God has everything under control, but I am begging and pleading, Lord, that we have no more crazy surprises, because January was really tough, and and February has been really tough. So I'm hoping March will be different, and every month after that. So thank you guys for watching, y'all. Do what you gotta do. Give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Mama don't care, okay? But give it something. Comment below. Tell me anything. Tell me I'm cute. Tell me my daughter's cute. Tell us that you are praying for us. Tell us anything. And thank you for watching.
You want to talk to Papa?
I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. I want mommy.
We're here.
I love you, mommy.
No. I love you.
I love you so much. I want to go
We're
home.
gonna go home soon.
No.
You want Papa?
No.
You want Mama?
No.
You want Daddy?
No.
What about Baby Jack?
You
You don't want Jack? Baby Jack?
Mommy, I love you.
Oh, I love you too. I love you.
Ah,
Dios mío.
ah, no me gusta esa canción.
You want to eat pancakes? You want pancakes? And what else you want to eat? Ooh.
I want to get it's French fries and soda.
Oh, chicken nuggets, french fries, and soda. Oh my gosh. Are you feeling better today? You look so beautiful. Say hi, Mama. Hi, Papa.
Mommy, why you got to say hand?
Because this is my ticket to come see you.